Good morning. Craig Howard here. I always say that the same way. Good morning, Craig Howard here, and it kind of sounds like a downer. Good morning. I don't mean it that way. I hope you're having a great morning, and we're starting out a new week, and I hope you had a good day yesterday. We had a wonderful church service at Break, and had a wonderful time with people there. Had several visitors there yesterday, and just a lot of good time. We really enjoyed it. Um, and so I'm looking forward to all that we have to do this week. I'm leaving here in just a little bit, and I'm heading to Philadelphia to take care of some things with my mom. And so I'll be there. I'll be driving up today, be there tomorrow, and drive back Wednesday. But anyhow, I hope your week is going to go good and everything is going to go well for you. I was thinking this morning about prayer. Prayer is a big part of my life, and it's one of the most, to me, it's one of the most precious things that I do. Um, I enjoy praying. I enjoy talking to my Heavenly Father. I enjoy that intimacy that comes with prayer. And uh, as I was thinking about it, I was thinking about how, as a young boy, people sometimes are intimidated by the idea of praying, and they don't want to pray. They're afraid they'll be embarrassed, or they don't know what to say or how to say it, and they've heard the preacher pray at church, and they think, oh, I can't pray like that, and so they're intimidated by it. But prayer's a lot like riding a bicycle. A lot of things are compared to riding a bicycle, but prayer is a lot like riding a bicycle. I remember when I was learning to ride a bike, I was up at my grandma and grandpa Howard's house, and my Uncle Richard had a bicycle there. It was an all-day pedaler. If you know what that is, that means if the back wheel's turning, the pedals are moving. There was no coaster brake. It was just you pedaled, and in fact, I don't think there was any brakes on it at all. But anyhow, I wanted the bike, and it was just sitting around, and I wanted the bike. And Uncle Richard said, if you learn to ride it before you leave Grandma and Grandpa's, you could have it. You can take it with you. Well, that's all it took. I got that bike out, and there was a little hill, not a big hill. I mean, just more like a gradual grade. That went down through my grandparents' yard. And so I got on that bike, and I would start down that yard, and I'd fall over, and I'd get back up, and I'd go some more, and I'd fall over. And I mean, I spent, I don't know. I don't know how long it was. It seemed like forever. I just kept trying and falling and trying and falling and trying and falling until all of a sudden it clicked. If you remember when you learn to ride a bike, there's that moment where all of a sudden you get it. You get how to turn the handlebars to get the balance. You learn that to keep pedaling, and the pedaling keeps you upright. And you just, all of a sudden it just clicks. And I remember when it clicked, and down through the yard I went, all the way down through the yard. And Uncle Richard happened to be standing next to the garage, which was right next to that yard. And he looked over and saw me going down through the yard, and he said, well, I guess it's yours. It was just like all of a sudden everything fell into place, and riding a bicycle wasn't hard. All of a sudden it made sense, and I knew how to do it. I understood how to do it. Prayer's a lot like that. It may seem intimidating. It may seem difficult. But it's one of those things that once you start it and you start trying, all of a sudden you'll just fall into your comfort zone in prayer, and you'll fall into what feels comfortable in talking to God. Our mom and dad had us praying as kids from a very young age. We started out saying our bedtime prayers, and we learned how to pray very young. And I think that's a good thing. I think it's good that parents teach their kids to do that. So I don't really ever remember that time where all of a sudden it's like, oh, okay, I get this. But I've seen it in other kids, and I've seen it in teenagers where all of a sudden it wasn't so intimidating. It wasn't so hard. They just realized that whatever they said, it was like talking to a friend, and whatever they said was okay. The Bible tells us something. It tells us a lot about prayer. But the verse that I chose this morning says, and pray in the Spirit on all occasions with all kinds of prayers and requests. I'm supposed to pray in every kind of occasion, the good times, the bad times, the happy times, the sad times. I'm supposed to pray in all occasions, making requests of all types in all situations. There's not any kind of situation, there's not any kind of activity, there's nothing that I'm doing that I shouldn't be interested in talking to God about. And it says, as you do that, keep this in mind. Be alert and always keep on praying for all the Lord's people. So that's one of the things that the Bible tells us to do, that we're to pray for all the Lord's people that we know. And so that's a pretty big prayer list by itself. Well, listen, I encourage you today, get on that prayer bicycle and figure out how to pedal those pedals if you're not comfortable in prayer. And if you are comfortable in prayer, realize that it should be a central part of your life and what you do. Hope you have a great day today. God bless you in all that you do. And I will see you, Lord willing, from Philadelphia tomorrow. See ya.